Hello, everyone. My name is Amy Hill, and I'm here with Altenew on the Monday Altenew Live. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Altenew Baby Shower Stamp Set. This is a stamp set that also comes with a die set and also a masking coloring, or a stencil that allows you to kind of mask over and do a little bit of very, very quick coloring. And we're going to be playing around and coloring this stamp set with both our artist watercolors and also with some blending as well. Hi, Joni. If you guys could let me know where you are coming from, I'd love to know. And I also really am curious about if you guys are have been watching the Euro Cup. I know this is totally for Lydia out there who's from Wales, but Wales is moving on into the next round in the Euro Cup. And for those of you from the United States, this is a big, huge soccer tournament that is happening over in Europe right now. If you share today's live stream, you'll be entered to win a $15 gift card to Altenew. And if you don't have it already, you might actually be wanting to purchase the Baby Shower Stamp die and stencil masking set. So this one's a really, really good set. Yes, Averill, good job, Wales. Good job, Wales. I was totally rooting for Wales there today. So hello to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Altenew Live. It's a wonderful, wonderful Monday. I'm coming to you from Boston, Massachusetts in the United States. And I'd love to know if you also are following the Euro Cup, which is a big, huge football or soccer, as we say here, in that's going on in Europe right now. Hey, Sue, it's nice to see you. Hi, Lori, coming to us from New York. And the I-90, I've been down there quite a bit. And oh, and Naomi, yep, we've been glued to the TV, be watching the Euro Cup. So huge congratulations out there to Wales, which although they didn't beat Italy, they were able to move on to the next round. So I've been cheering on Wales for Lydia. I've been cheering her on. Yes, Aram, it is football. It is football. So absolutely. But I'd love to know if there's a team that you're rooting for in the Euro Cup. Let me know who it is that you are rooting for. I would love to know. Take a moment right now. It would be wonderful if you could share this live and let us know that you shared it. Go ahead and put in the comments there that you have shared it. And I believe that Kat is with me behind the badge today. So please make sure that you say hello to Kat. And Averill, I agree. We got cards to make, and that's what we're going to be doing today. If you would like to color along with me, that would be super great. I'm going to be using the Altenew Artist watercolors, and I'm also going to be doing a little bit of blending. So we're going to be doing a little bit of things. So hi, Christine. Thank you so much for joining us from YouTube. And Sue, thank you for joining us from Facebook. And thank you so much. So I'm going to come on down, and we're going to take a look at what we're doing today. So here we go. I'm going to move my camera down. So again, thank you so much for joining us today on this Altenew Live. And we're going to be using the Baby Shower Stamp and Die Set. And I need to know who has this stamp set, and have you used it? Have you not used it? Altenew is known for the amazing and beautiful florals that they do, but they also have these really sweet little stamp sets as well. Oh, Micheline, are you rooting for the French team in the Euro Cup? I'd love to know. Anyone else rooting and watching the Euro Cup? I am totally obsessed right now. We've been watching this all week. So what's adorable about this stamp set is that you see all of these little cute, adorable critters here. And you have this banner that they can hold. And this has congratulations and baby shower and mom to be. But I thought this would be so adorable for a birthday card. And we're going to be kind of playing around and look at some different ones as well. Nancy, are you rooting for Belgium? They're doing pretty good there, I have to say. There's also a die set with this. In addition, there's also a coloring stencil. And this allows you to just do some very, 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 very quick coloring by using a stencil. And so we're actually going to be doing two things today. I'm going to be coloring in these sweet little critters, and I would love to know how do you color? Like when you got to do some quick coloring, are you an alcohol marker person? Are you colored pencils? Are you somebody who uses watercolor like we're going to do today? So how do you end up coloring in your critters that you have? And so what we're going to do today, we're actually going to use the artist's watercolor. And this is going to do, oh, Sue, yes, they do absolute flowers. Oh, dovetail butterflies. Yeah, I've seen that one out. I'd love to take a look at that one. So I'm going to do some really super quick coloring with the artist's watercolor. And then we're also going to color this in using the very, very simple coloring stencil and show you how that's used today. But I'd love to know when you have critters or you have something that you would like to color in, what's your medium to color? What is it that you would like to color in? Do you use pencils? Do you use watercolor? Do you use alcohol markers? Kind of what's your medium for coloring? Averill, you like alcohol and alcohol markers too? Well, hopefully you don't mix those up, Averill. But also I'm thinking that if you are having a little beverage while you color, hopefully you're staying within the lines. Or hey, it doesn't matter because you're die cutting it out anyway. And Nancy, watercolor pencils. Oh yeah, Naomi, those watercolor pencils, those are amazing. I was going to use those today, but I decided I would go with the pan set today. Altenew makes this really super nice watercolor paper, and I love these because of the size. Can you see that that's 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches? And so this is a great size just to put on the front of a card. And so it's already pre-cut, so I don't have to cut anything down. And I love that about the watercolor paper set. So this is really nice. And it's this beautiful color. And I know you guys can't see, but if you ever get a piece of this, it doesn't have a lot of texture. It's very smooth. So it's really, really super nice for stamping. All right. So if any of you guys are out there, I've been waiting along. So if you want to go ahead and color with me, grab a stamp, grab some paper, and go ahead and craft with me. It would be super great. Let me know what you are working on. What's on your craft table today? What are you working on? I'd love to know. All right, so I'm going to stamp this, and I'm going to stamp it using some Obsidian pigment ink. And the reason why I'm going to use pigment ink is because of the fact that I'm going to be using watercolor. And for those of you who do not know, I'm a science teacher, actually a biology teacher here in a district right outside of Boston. And so sometimes you're going to hear a little bit of science. And in this one, it is like dissolves like. So if we're using watercolors, but we have an oil-based or solvent-based ink, these two don't mix. So what if I use this, it's going to stay nice and true. It's going to stay super duper nice and true. All right. So if you haven't already, please take a moment while I'm stamping this to share this live, and you'll be entered to win a $15 gift card so you can pick up the baby shower stamp set, or if you have your eye on one of the watercolor sets, or maybe you're like, I really like some of that watercolor paper that she's talking about, then you can go ahead and do that. So go ahead and take a moment if you haven't already and share this live. Oh, Lori, you're cutting out pieces for a quilt right now. Oh, that is the one craft that I would love to get into. We have actually have an amazing quilting store right around the corner from me. So, Averill, you need to make an engagement card and a graduation card tonight. This would be kind of cute, I gotta say. This would be kind of cute. Or if you want to color, that's totally fine. Averill, are you thinking about coloring on the cards you're going to make? Are you thinking about doing some coloring on those for your engagement card? And Lori, I hope your quilt comes out. I would love to see some pictures of that. That's going to be amazing. While I'm here, I'm actually going to grab, there's a couple of little things that you can do. So there's a little balloon here, and there's some hearts. And I'm actually just going to grab these 2 hearts, and I'm also going to color those in as well today. So I'm going to grab these 2 hearts, and I'm going to color them in. And I think I'm going to grab this balloon too, just so I have it on there. All right, so I'm just going to stamp these down, and then we're going to get to some coloring. And yeah, flowers are always a good thing. Oh, Stacy, hello from South Florida. Hello from South Florida. Must be super beautiful there right now. And that you can get over to the ocean. Today was my last day of school, everybody. Today was my last day of school. So I'm really, really super excited. Summertime is coming. And then, of course, watching a little bit more of the Euro Cup because I cannot get enough at this moment. And again, congratulations to Wales. I texted Lydia yesterday. I said, Lydia, they're in. This is so exciting. All right. And then thank you to Kat. If you guys want to say hello to Kat, who is behind the badge today. She's doing a super duper fabulous job keeping up with me. She is doing awesome. Thank you, Kat. All right. So I have paper. And I'm just going to do some really super quick coloring. And I know you guys are looking at this and you are saying, wow, that is so clean. I am one of those people, everybody, that I have to I got to keep it as new as possible. How many of you are like me out there? Come on now, you can confess. Yes, I have used this. You can see a little bit where I've used it. I do use this. But I am one of those people that needs to keep it a little bit on the clean side, just to let you know. I also work on a glass mat sometimes, and I can do some mixing on there, but I'll just mix right on the palette here. Kat, I got another thing coming in. I got the, this is my first time, by the way. I just, oh, thanks, Naomi. I appreciate that. I'm totally a neat freak. This thing, thanks, Cece. Yes, absolutely. I'm glad. Yep. Sue, absolutely. You gotta wipe it down. This is the Altenew watercolor brush set. I have to confess something to you all. I just bought this and I haven't used it yet. So this is kind of an inaugural thing. So this is literally, we are opening this together, everybody. We're opening this together. This is very exciting. So if this was one of the things that you're like, oh, I don't know if I should have purchased it, you along with me are going to be checking this out today. All right. You along with me are going to be checking this out. So very first time opening this, never ever opened it. It comes in this really cool little case. Makes me feel like I'm a kind of a professional watercolorer, even though I'm a little bit more of a hack on that end. And it's got this really cool little thing, and you can see all of these little brushes. So again, first time, never used it. And I believe you can take it and you can make a little stand so it can stand up on your desk. I mean, come on, how cool is that, huh? So it's all kind of standing up here. It's pretty cool. I have both. There's a detail set and there's also a wider brush set. This is the detail set, and it comes with size 0 to 1, 2, and 3, and you can see how detailed those are. So there's a 0, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to grab this one. This is the size 2. So you can see that size 2 because I'm doing a little bit of coloring here. All right. So this is the first time using these. And by the way, I just use water. So this is just a little bit of water that I have. And this is another little hack that I have. Naomi, yes, I think this one was like a little treat to myself because I'm like, I think I need nice brushes. Do you know how everybody gets the friend candle? You know what I'm talking about, ladies? The candle that like everybody gets and kind of like, oh, you just kind of keep passing along. Well, if you take the wax out by putting it in the freezer after you kind of burn the candle down, this is my jar for my water. So this was the friend candle that you can even see like the little tag at the bottom here. So that's what I use my empty candle jars for, is for painting. So here's the friend candle. Let me know in the comments if you've ever received or gifted the friend candle. I know I definitely have. All right, so I'm gonna start painting here, and you can see that I have this watercolors over on the side, and this is the Baby Shower Stamp set. So I'm just gonna kind of keep that over on the side. So this is the Baby Shower Stamp set, and again, I'm really curious, what's your go-to method for coloring in critters? And I know Altenew is kind of known for its florals, but they really do have this really sweet, have some like really, really super sweet stamp sets. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit of this brown. Just going to get some more water here to activate this. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit of this brown. And I I have a friend who's the Fine and Performing Arts department chair where I work, and what she told me is that when you can kind of start mixing your own colors and getting your own kind of things, and that's what I love about this artist pan, is it has so many beautiful bright colors. So I want to paint this little guy first, but I'm going to grab just a little bit of this orange, and I'm going to start to mix these two in, just to make kind of like a little bit of a tawny, a brown, but I'm going to give it a little bit of depth here. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to grab him, and I'm just going to really quickly, and I always have a cloth on the side, so if I have too much extra water, I kind of go on there. Naomi, pour boiling water. Oh, that's a good idea. I end up putting it in the freezer. That's what I do, is I put them in the freezer. My candles, in order to get rid of the wax, I just kind of put it in the freezer. All right, so what you can see is that I kind of put a little bit of color down, and then I'm just going in with a little bit of darker color where there's going to be a little bit more shadow. And then from there, I'm just going to add some water, and I'm just going to kind of start to pull that color through. And the way I color is more like glazing when I use watercolor, where I kind of lay down a little bit of, color, and then I come in with like layers and layers a little bit more. So you can see I'm just taking that first initial color that I put in, and I'm just pulling it along. And you can see how fast this goes. Grab a little bit more color. I'm just going to start up here. So I'm just kind of starting to get this color and move it through. And this does go really fast. This is something that it's enjoyable. I kind of like watercoloring. Anybody else out there? Do you kind of like watercoloring? And I'm just going to pull this color down. And if you get up, like I got a little bit too much color, I'm just going to start to kind of push that up. Let me get a little bit more color on my brush. I'm just going to pull that through. Oh, yeah. Unexpected crafter, yes. Ooh, Nancy, hang your earrings on the extra on that. That's a good idea. Never thought about it. Yeah, those empty candle jars, ladies, there's a lot to be to go on there with them. All right, so I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do his little arm here, and I'm just going to grab a little bit more color and kind of put that in. And then I'm just going to grab that color and just move it through. And if I feel like it's too light, I'm just going to grab a little bit more. And so that's what I'm doing, is I'm just kind of going right to the edge, getting the color off my brush, and then using just the water to drag it through. And that's going to give you a little bit more definition to him. So you can see how he's a little bit darker on this side, and he's a little bit lighter on this side. And a little bit more color over here by his foot. All right, so he's almost done. Let me get his head here. And Sadia, yeah, I know, it's so nice. I'm glad your watercoloring is one of those things that I was always like, I can never do that. And it's something that you definitely take a lot of practice on. And there's a watercolor book that Altenew just came out with that I'd recommend if you're kind of like practicing watercolor, because it's something that you can do. You don't have to worry about the image, and you can kind of just, it's paper, so you can kind of see what you want to do with it. Here we go. All right, so you can see, and I'm looking for a very soft, like a very soft look with this. So I want it to be soft. And that's one of the reasons why I chose watercolor. If I had wanted it to be darker, I probably would have gone for artist markers, for the alcohol markers, because that would be a little bit darker, because those are obviously going to be highly pigmented. And I also went with the artist watercolor set because of the fact that I knew I wanted it to be light. So that was what it's going to be there. All right, I'm going to grab a little bit of gray for the bottoms of his feet. So let me just activate this black over here, this dark gray. I have a tendency, I don't always use straight black. I actually use, in fact, I'm going to get a little bit of this orange over here. I'm going to confess something to you all. I'm getting a little nervous that my pan's getting dirty. I'm going to have to clean this afterwards here. Get a little bit more dark. So I'm just going to drop that dark in. And I'm just going to grab my water, clean water, and I'm just going to bring that dark up. Just so it's back of his foot. So you can kind of see where that heel is. It's a little bit darker, and then I'm going to drag that pigment up. And what I love about the artist set, watercolor set, is that they're just so highly pigmented. So you can see he's so adorable, right? He's just so cute. Hi, Elena. Oh, yeah, that's a great idea, Naomi. Starting school. Thank you, teacher. And then there actually is, this is, there's a sentiment on here, Naomi, for come to the baby shower. It's right here. You're invited. Please join us for a baby shower. So it's right on there. This is so cute. Oh, Mrs. Stamp, thank you so much for sharing. Again, if you haven't, you can share this live to your social media account, and then you'll be entered to win a $15 gift card to Altenew. All right, so I'm going to mix some blue because I'd love some blue for his shirt. So I'm just going to grab some blue, and I think I want it to be a little bit more tealy. So let me grab this one, and I'm going to put these together. So I always kind of tend to make my own colors. So you see how this blue, you guys can't see what I'm doing right now. See how this blue is so bright? So I mixed in a little bit of teal. So I kind of made my own color. And that's the beauty of using watercolors, is I can kind of make my own color with it. All right, so I'm going to add this teal right to his collar. So this is going to be a little bit dark. I'm going to get a little bit more color. And I'm kind of using a dry on technique because I'm just trying to go through this a little bit fast instead of using a wet on wet technique. And then I'm going to grab this, pull my color out. So now I have some water. And I'm just going to pull that blue through. And I'm going to pull his blue. And so he's got this sweet little blue top. And there he is. And he is all done. He's all set. So you can see how fast that you can use this and do this. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to color my little fox, and I'm going to make that fox a little bit more orange. So I'm going to grab this orange and pull in that brown that we had from before. And let's pull in a little bit of red. There we go. And I want a little bit of this brown. There we go. Okay, so now I got my color. I'm going to go over to the fox, and I'm just going to start to put him in here and put some color down on him. And then I'm going to grab my new color that I made and then go ahead and put it on him. And so here's my fox. And once you kind of get going with watercolor, it just really goes. And again, I'm doing this just to kind of color these in. But get this really sweet little color with them, and they are really so fast to do. So I don't want to get his little muzzle, but there he is. There's my little fox. I'm just going to make him a little bit darker here. All right, and here he goes. Okay, so I'd love to know, are you somebody who loves to watercolor? Is that kind of your go-to? Let me grab a little bit of this blue. It was not good. I put some orange in there. Grab a little bit of this blue. And I'm just going to grab his little tie. So he's got a sweet little blue tie. You're ready for the party. Okay. All right, now for my bunny and my mouse, I'm going to do a little bit of gray. And so gray, I'm going to grab the black here. And I'm just going to pull that out. And obviously, the more water that I add to the black, the more gray it's going to be. So I'm just going to kind of pull this gray out. Now my mouse, I want to be gray. So you can see this little mouth, he's right over here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of water on him. And then I'm going to add that black, pull some water in here. And I'm just going to add a little bit of color. And just adding a little bit of color to my mouse. Now I got a little bit of extra water, so I'm just going to take my towel and kind of dab it in. And then I'm going to go back over him. And here's my mouse. And I'm building my mouse. If you're like, oh my gosh, this is like forever, there's just no way that I could do this watercolor, it's going to be forever. There is a coloring stencil that comes with this that we're going to check out next. Let me do its little tail there. All right. I think he needs a blue jacket too. So let's get him a blue jacket. And we'll put this little long thing on here for that one. All right, so he's got a little blue jacket right here. There he goes. Adorable. All right, and then we're going to do our bunny. And bunny to me is a little bit more brown with the black. So I'm going to add a little bit of brown into this. Sorry about that. Add a little bit more brown to this. All right, so I'm curious, have you seen or done or used kind of some non-floral sets with Altenew? Like, do you have this stamp set or any other stamp sets that have kind of critters in them? Or are most of the sets that you get from Altenew, are they floral sets? So I'm curious. Oh, hi, Sue. Yeah, I know. I have to say on our end of the world, it's a little muggy. I agree. I'm over in Boston, and it is pretty muggy. Although I'm excited for summer to start. My school day just ended, for the school year just ended for me. Thank goodness. Today. All right, let's make him a little blue shirt. Let's add a little bit more blue here. Okay. All right, I'm going to make my my balloon and my hearts up here. I'm going to do those in red. So I'm just going to grab this red or one of the reds up here. Just go ahead and make them a little bit on the wet side. And I want to make my balloon red too. All right, so I'm just going to grab a little bit of paint. Oh, I thought that was wetter. And a little bit of paint. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this. All right, so that took me about 20 minutes to go ahead and do these in. And so you can see that you just have these really, really sweet little images. And I kind of did that a little bit on the, oh, Sue, yeah, that T-stamp die set. And Nancy, the watercolor pencils. Those are so super fabulous to use. Yeah. And flowers. Everybody I know, they're so beautiful. Like I have to say, Altenew has the most amazing flowers. They really, really do. But they do have these other little sets that are around. All right. So I'm going to move this to the side. And I will let you know that after this live, I will be cleaning my paint pan. Just letting you all know that I will be cleaning this up. Because there's just no way I can't handle it. And then what's super nice about this brush set that I was showing you guys is I'm just going to take this, I'm just going to clean off my brush, and then I can put it right back in my little case. And I'm actually going to keep this open so my brush dries. But this is the brush set. Love it. This is, I have to say, huge one. If you have a little bit of extra cash, or you got you're looking for a little gift. Go ahead and grab that. That is a super nice little set. All right, what we're going to do now is I'm going to grab a piece of paper, And I want to show you that we can kind of do that same thing, but this time we're going to use the simple coloring stencil. And so this simple coloring stencil comes with the, or this comes as a set, is you can get the dies and you can get everything along with it. Now I'm going to also stamp this in black, but I think what I wanted to do was to do this, but use, do it as a no line coloring with the coloring stencil, but you can't see it when I do that. So I'm going to do this and stamp it out in the black with my water. And so I'm just going to stamp this one time again. And I just wanted to show you how simple it is to use this stencil, the coloring stencil. All right, so there we go. I'm all stamped, ready to go. What we're going to do today is I'm going to eventually, after I color in this one, we're going to start putting this out. And I actually wanted to talk about scene cards and how to make scene cards. Oh, Christine, yeah, that Mini Moon stamp set is so great. Oh, hi, Lilith. Thank you so much for joining us. Lilith, you have a team that you're following for the Euro Cup? I just told everybody that I was rooting for Wales for Lydia, on Lydia's end. And they're in the next, they're like ready to go in the next thing. All right, so the way that this coloring stencil works is you can see that you have kind of all of these little guys. So if I put this over my bear, just my bear is there. And so I can grab some ink. And Kat, you ready? I'm going to come flying at you with some ink. And I'm going to grab from Delectable Delights, I'm going to grab the hazelnut ink and the milk chocolate ink. I think I'm going to grab both of those. Now, you can use a little bit of tape to put this down. I'm a little bit of a lazy crafter, and I just kind of do things a little bit more on the fly. But you can totally kind of put those down and do that. So I'm just going to add a little bit of tape here. In fact, I'm going to tape off this little fox just in case if I get him. And I'm just going to come in with a detail brush. And I'm going to start with some hazelnut. And I'm just going to go ahead and kind of put that in. Actually, I don't think I need the milk chocolate. This is kind of a nice little color he's got. And so you can just see how quickly you can lay down some color with one of these coloring stencils. So super quick. So I literally just put that in, and that's the hazelnut ink, and it's so super cute. And then I'm going to take his t-shirt, and here's this little t-shirt, and I'm going to put this tape right over where my fox is so we don't get that fox in there. And this time I'm going to grab a little bit of the blue, and I'm going to use, I'm going to grab a little bit of this Caribbean sky. This is so you can see how fast this is. So where it kind of took us like, it took me like 30 minutes to do that first one, I can go ahead and I can get this done. And just to let you know, so there's this little shirt, and it's done. Just need to get this little section of his shirt. So this coloring stencil, if you're like, I just don't have time to sit there and do stuff, let's go. So you see my bear's done. So it's all set. And so let's go ahead and we'll get this little fox. So here's my fox. So I'm just going to put him right in there. And I'm eventually going to cut these out, so I don't care about kind of going over the stencil side of it. So that's really not an issue for me. And I'm going to grab this marigold, and I'm going to use the marigold on him. He's going to be a very, very bright orangey fox. Now you'll see I'm starting to head over into my bear, and I don't want to get that, so I just grab a piece of scrap paper, and I'm right over there. So there's my fox. He's all done. Check. And then here's this little bow tie And I'm going to grab that same blue, and I'm just going to go right in with that Caribbean sky. And I'm going to get his little bow tie, if I can. If my brush is too big. There we go. So you see how fast we did that fox and everything. So this is this coloring stencil. If you end up purchasing this, I really recommend kind of getting the whole set. It's so super easy to use. And you can just see with the vibrancy that you get, like again, I wanted a soft look here, but this I can get a pretty vibrant look, or I could get a softer look depending on what I'm doing. All right, so now here I am over on the bunny. So I'm going to tape this bunny down, and I don't want to get onto my bear, so I'm going to go right over to here. And so with my bunny, I want a little bit of a warm, I'm going to use the warm grays, because I kind of think about bunnies as being like a kind of a warm gray. And so from that one, I'm going to grab the evening gray. And just grab that, and I'm just going to go right over my bunny. And my mouse is all set. So my mouse is all set. So there's my bunny. That was the evening gray. And then I'm going to do the bunny's shirt, which is right here. And I got my little mouse there, so I'm just going to use this as a just in case. And I'm going to grab that same blue, that Caribbean sky. And I'm just going to go right over. And now the bunny is all set. And then for my last guy, for this mouse, here he is. Here's my mouse. And I'm just going to grab some tape. I'm putting off the bunny. And I'm going to kind of, just make sure that side's okay. And I always like a little bit of like a gray, like a true gray for mice, because to me they're kind of like really, really good gray. So I'm going to grab Rock Collection, and I'm going to grab that Silverstone ink in Rock Collection. Let me just clean off my gray that I just used. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in. I'd love to know how many of you guys have used, Altenew's kind of come out with these coloring stencils. I'd love to know if you've used them. If this is a product that you love, would you like Altenew to kind of come out with more of them? Is this something that you like, oh yes, this has made my life super easy, or maybe you're like, I've never seen these before. These are amazing. This is what I want to do. All right, so that's it. Just want to show you guys. So on all of 5 minutes, I want to put out that that's 5 minutes. I colored all these guys in. All right. So super easy. This is ridiculous easy. It's a little bit brighter. So this took me about 20 minutes, and I was doing it kind of fast. And this I did in 5. So you can kind of see like, wow, this is pretty good. But that coloring stencil, and you can see how fast it is. There's the hearts, and there's the balloon. So I could have done that balloon over here. And then I also could have done, there's a, within the stamp set, there is a little banner that they can hold. And so that's the banner that's there. So it's all just really, really super easy. All right, so what we're going to do right now, I'm just going to take a second to clean up my area. And are you guys a clean as you go? Are you clean as you go, or are you like a crafter math? How do you do that when you go ahead and craft? Crafter mathing, or are you kind of a clean as you go? Love to know. Let me know in the comments which way that goes for you. All right, so what we're going to do now with the second half of our time today is we're going to go ahead and we're going to make some scene cards. So I'm going to take both of these, and I'm going to actually cut them out using the die set. So I have my little blossom here, and both of these should fit within my mini blossom. And this thing, oh my gosh, I cannot say enough. I think everybody who I come into who knows that I work with Altenew, I'm like, get the mini blossom. And they're like, what is that? And I just have to tell you, it is an amazing product. It's something that I use every single day. I use, April, is there always a crafter math around you? Yes. I'm a clean as you go. I kind of, oh, thank you, Christine. Thank you, Cordelia. I'm a clean as you go. I kind of need to know, yes, that this is totally, I kind of pick up as I go. I can't kind of clean with a mess around me. So it's just one of those things that kind of happens. All right. So I'm going to cut out these little guys right here. There we go. And I always use a little bit of tape just to kind of make sure. So I'm going to grab this and see how it just fits right on there. So even a big image like this little bear scene, this fits in the mini blossom. I mean, I was like, wow, this is great. I use them a lot because it's just so much easier to grab. I don't have to deal with a ton of big plates. And I already got it, and it's super cute, and it's already done. Boom, done, cut out, perfect, done. I'm going to do this guy as well. And we're going to do something a little bit different with this one in just a second. All right. So what I wanted to talk with you guys today about was scene cards. So making a scene. And I'd love to know, is this something that you struggle with? Is making a scene something that you really enjoy? Is this kind of your go-to? Or are you like, I am more of a geometric person and I hate making scenes? So who out there right now, are you a scene builder or are you just not a scene builder? Do you love that? Or you're like, oh, no way, not making a scene. Don't like making a scene at all. All right, so that's my other thing. So those are all cut out. Altenew Mini Blossom, highly recommend it. It is worth every penny. I know it's a little bit of a higher price point, but trust me, it is something that I use every time I craft. I use it every single time. It's kind of on the crazy end how much I use it. All right. So I want to make a scene. I want to make a scene. Hopefully you'll like it too. And I have to tell you, these two, when Altenew came out with both of them, I totally jumped for joy. And the biggest one that I jumped for joy, and if Lilith is still on here, she can tell you, it is the Cloud Scene Stencil. All right, how many of you guys purchased this? And I have a ton of Cloud Scene, like I have a ton of Cloud stencils. I have to tell you, I love the Altenew. I know I work with them, but I love the Altenew Cloud Scene Stencil the most. What these clouds that it makes are just, they're perfect. I've never seen more perfect clouds that are made from the Cloud Scene Stencil. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to make a little scene. I'm going to make a cloud sky background, and I'm also going to make a little ground using another stencil that I'm going to get out in just a second, but I'm going to start with the Cloud Scene Stencil. Now, I think that the key with making skies is I like to use two different kinds of blue. So I'm going to pull that Caribbean sky back out. Love the Caribbean sky. And it's a really kind of a bright blue. So I want to tone that down a little bit. And I actually want to get a little bit of a teal and an aqua. And so I might use this one. I might hold that for just a second. I'm actually going to get this turquoise. So I'm kind of staying within like the second groupings of color, but I kind of have this blue. So I'm going to start off first with the Caribbean sky. And I'm just going to place this stencil. And again, just grabbing some color and I'm just laying it down. And I'm going to go off the stencil. And I'm just going to get some color onto my paper. And when I pull this off, you're going to see this kind of what this thing can do. And so you just see this beautiful cloud start to come out. Now, what I like to do is I like to kind of mix up some of the colors so it's not totally the same. So I'm going to grab some turquoise this time, and I'm going to shift my stencil. And this is the beauty about this specific one. is that you can kind of move this around. And so if I want like a little bit of different types of clouds, and I'm just going to go just here, and then I'm going to grab the ink and I'm going to pull that up. And so what you're getting is this variation in cloud color. And so this one is the Cloud Scene Stencil. Connie, this is the Cloud Scene Stencil that I'm using, and this is the Deep Blue Sea coloring set. I have turquoise, and I have from Glacier Caves, I have the Caribbean Sky. And so I'm going to keep on going with both of these, and I'm just going to start to move this color through. And I think I just messed up. There we go. There's a little bit of the turquoise, and then I'm going to pull out that color from the Caribbean Sky. All right, so now let me make some other clouds here. And you just end up with this really cool looking clouds. And if you want to make it a little bit on the whiter side, and I just kind of keep moving this down, and that's what I'm doing. And if you want to, as you get closer to the ground, and start to transition and kind of move things through. So I'm just laying a little bit of the turquoise, and then I'm pulling in that Caribbean Sky. And so you can see, I'm going to make it down here. All right, so as I get closer to the horizon line, I have to transition through to this. So I just want to, can you guys look at that? Isn't that so cool? This Cloud Scene Stencil, I got to tell you, it's definitely the best one that I've used, at least. I have a couple of them because I need a lot of help to make the cards that I make, and I have to say that this one is really cool. And I can just kind of keep rotating this, and I'm going to get so much variation just from using the different colors that I'm using, and also from just continuing to rotate the stencil. And you just get these really cool looking clouds. And I love the backgrounds that are coming out of this. So, I mean, I can make cloud scenes for days. And this is so quick. I mean, this took me, what, 3 minutes, 4 minutes? And I was talking at you through it. So that's our Cloud Scene Stencil. So I'm going to, now what I want to do is I'm going to put this over to the side for a second. And then I'm going to pull out what I think is the other coolest stencil for building scenes that Altenew has, at least that I have in my stash. And that is the Mountain Scene Stencil. And the Mountain Scenes stencils are really cool too. These inks are Connie, these inks are dye inks. So these are water-based inks. And that's what makes them really able to kind of blend. I find that they blend easier. And yes, water splashes, these would be so cool, these colors. And Sue, you definitely should pull out this stencil to use with those dovetail butterflies. They would look like, if you put butterflies on this background, that would be so amazing. Like that would look really, really cool. The Mountain Scene Stencil, it's kind of like, what the heck is this? But you can use it to make these shadows off of these mountains and pine trees. But I'm going to use it, everybody. I'm going to use it for grass. And I know you're looking at me like, what? But I'm actually going to use it to make some grass. So when we think about, or I usually try to build like a little bit of mound, and I don't have any sort of stencil to do that. So what I can actually do, and I have a piece, here it is. I just have a piece of scratch paper, and all I'm going to do is with my, my scissors is I'm just going to cut. And if you're like, Amy, you're going into this and you're starting to cut, what are you doing? If you need kind of a line to draw or to trace it, then you can grab, you know, like here, I'll grab my water glass. And all I'm looking to do is I just want to trace it so it's like a little mound. So you don't really need anything super fancy. You do need this Cloud Scene Stencil. But to kind of make this ground, I'm just going to kind of cut this out. And so I'm just cutting a little arc. That's all I'm doing. Okay, so now I have an arc. So I have the one side and I have the other side. So I'm actually going to use this side to build my grass. Excuse me. And I'm going to grab 2 colors. And I have to say I love this. Let me not grab that one. I'm going to grab a green that's kind of like a pretty cool, like a pretty good green. And then I'm also going to grab, there's this like tealish kind of green, because I want a little bit of a difference. So I'm going to grab Green Field, and this is out of the Green Valley set. And I'm also going to grab Volcano Lake, and that is out of the Seashore set. So let me grab my blender, and I'm going to use this as a way to kind of give me a little bit of shape when I do this. So again, handmade stencil, no big deal. I'm going to go off of my stencil, and I'm just going to blend over this. So you guys saw me, I totally cut this out, and I did it very quickly and without a lot of kind of crazy pants. And there we go. All right, so I'm going to add in, just because I want a little bit of variation, I'm going to add in a little bit of this Volcano Lake. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a second. All right, here we go. So all I'm doing is just adding in a little bit of this just to give it a little bit of a different color. And so when I pull this away, you can see that I now have a little hill, right? Very, very super easy, a little bit of a hill. So I got my cloud scene and I got a little bit of hill. Now my hill is a little boring because there's really nothing going on with my hill. So I'm going to grab the mountain scene stencil, and you can see all these little trees at the bottom. And there's one of them that doesn't really look so much like a tree. It's a little bit smaller. And so I'm going to take that, and if I could find my tape, which is right here, I'm just going to tape this down just because I don't want to move over there. And I'm going to grab that Volcano Lake, and I'm just going to put some grass onto my hill. So there's my little grass, right? Very super easy. So I'm going to take that, and I'm just going to start to move it through. And I'm just going to keep adding a little bit of grass to my hill. So I got some more grass, and I'm going to move this along. And if you're like, that's kind of boring, I need to change it up, you can take your stencil and you can flip it over. And now I got something a little bit different. So I'm going to put that in here. So I got a little bit more grass, and let me grab a little bit more. And I'm going to put a little bit more grass right up in here. Okay. So now that I have my scene, I have a little hill for my little bears and little critters to sit on, and now I have this beautiful cloud that's up here as well. I want to add in a little bit more cloud on the side, because my guys, when I put this on here, they're going to take care of most of that middle part. But I'm going to grab my turquoise, and I just want to add a little bit more clouds because I didn't come down far enough. So let me grab this, and I'm just going to come down a little bit more. Okay, and then there's my clouds. So now I have this cloud scene, and I have my little hill, and I'm going to take the guys that I had done, and there's my little card. So that's one way to do a scene card. And I can take this. I was actually going to take the banner and have them kind of holding up the banner, or I can have something like in a little cloud shape above them to say hello. But I wanted to show you kind of my little bits of tricks in order to make a scene. So I have to say, one of the best ways to make a scene is grab that cloud stencil die. And another way to make a scene is to grab that mountain scene building die. So I know you might look at it and you'll be like, I have no idea, or I don't make mountain cards or whatever. But all of these things, like this is even a tree. So if you kind of look at it and rotate it and think about it in a different way, you can start to kind of use these things. All right. There's one thing that I wanted to end you guys with today, and that was, I know that the baby shower, so this is from the baby shower stamp set, and we had used the coloring stencil in order to do these. So I wanted to take these, and I actually want to cut them apart. And I'm going to grab another piece of paper, and I'm going to grab, I think I'm going to grab a really, really light blue. So I'm going to grab this, let me not use Caribbean Sky. I'm going to grab this Sea Breeze. And I think I want to grab the Mountain Mist. I'm going to grab these in just a second. So I'm going to grab the Sea Breeze. And what I'm going to do with the Sea Breeze is I'm just going to come in, and I just want to kind of build this little bit of background just to give my little critters some place to sit. That's all I want, is I just want to give them just a little bit of some place to sit. Okay, so just a little bit of color. So you can see that there's a very, very light color in there. So all I'm doing is I'm kind of grounding them, and I wanted to make it a little bit different. I always feel like when I put some colors down, I want to give it a little bit of variation. So I usually will grab a color that's a little bit analogous. So in this case, I'm using blue and a little bit of teal. And so it's going to end up just a little bit different, just a little bit slightly different. And I'm looking for my cutters here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this bear completely out. I know. How many of you are cringing right now? It's okay. You can tell me. We're going to have a little therapy session. How many of you are cringing that I'm cutting this out right now? I need to know how many of you are cringing, besides the fact that you're watching me cut, which, by the way, I failed kindergarten. I don't know how I got out of there. Oh, there he goes. Oh, the fox is now on part of it. All right. How many of you are cringing? Cutting this out too. And I have to say, this is such an adorable little set. Such an adorable little set. And if you just use this with all the little critters, it's really kind of adorable. So my bear's going to be the best there. Oh, thank you, Naomi, for trusting me. Don't hurt the bear. April, I think he's okay, although his foot's a little funkish right now. Yes, Sue, it's okay. We can cut the things apart. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. All right, so I'm also going to cut the mouse away from the bunny, and I'm actually not going to use the bunny. So the bunny is not going to be part of my little scene. So goodbye, bunny. He's over there on the side. Okay. Now, if you remember, I did these little hearts, and I should actually die cut these, but I don't have the time because we're at like a couple of minutes to go. So I just wanted to show you that with this stamp and die set. So again, we colored the stamp set using Altenew Artist watercolors, and we got this really, really soft view that I use within my scenes. And then I also used the coloring stencil. And what I'm going to do is these are the ones that I used with the coloring stencil, and I can take this apart, and with them, I'm actually going to be able to kind of do something a little bit different. All right, so let me just fix this heart. How many of you guys do you like to use the dies, or are you hand cutters? How many of you guys hand cut things out? All right, and here we go. All right, Kat, how are we doing out there, by the way? Thank you so much. If everybody could say a big, huge thank you to Kat, who's behind the badge today. She's done an absolutely super fabulous job keeping up with me and all of the inks that I was throwing out there. Thank you, Kat, for putting all those links in to all these great products. And we had a lot that we used today. We went from the watercolors to the brushes, Altenew Mini Blossom, the baby shower stamp die set. So much today. All right, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to cut out this little guy and finish him. And get rid of his little thumb here. And then my mouse. Okay, how cute is that? Come on now. Isn't that adorable? They're so cute. And then I'm going to take these hearts, and each one of them is just going to hold a little heart. And he's got the balloon, so he's going to be holding on to the balloon. And so it's just another way that we can see, how to kind of stretch this die set and stretch this stamp set. All right, so I just wanted to show you what we kind of went through today, where we built a scene from this, where we use the cloud stencil, and we even use the mountain builder stencil to add some grass, and we use the Altenew artist watercolors to kind of very, very quickly put them in. And then you can take this scene and cut all those little guys apart, and you can see on this one, and I know that they're not tacked down, so I'm going to be very, very careful with this, but we just made a little trio. And so I can even imagine with that, with them holding like, congratulations, welcome baby, you're amazing, and a little sentiment. You could have used the Altenew cloud stencil in order to kind of give them a little bit more background, but you can see how that's on there. All right, so I hope that you enjoyed our time together today. So thank you so much for being with us on this Altenew Live and taking another look at the baby shower stamp die and stencil coloring set. And please join us over on the Altenew fan group Facebook page. I'd love to see kind of what you make and how it is that you love to color things. And I wanted to give a huge shout out to all of you. So thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much to Kat, who was behind the badge today. Thank you all so much. I really, really enjoyed our time. I hope that you have a wonderful day and that you continue to move on and craft. And hopefully you can build some scenes, especially if you have that cloud scene stencil kind of hanging out in the background. Go ahead and pull that out and make it forefront in your scene. So thank you all so much, and I will see you again. Have a great day.